Hey friends, we're back with American Miscellany. This book was published in 1865 and it's a collection of essays, historic and scientific. And, I've been reading through this. We've just finished essay number 110, entitled Trajan and Robert Fulton. And, you just never know when the racism and the, cultural abuse is going to pop up in this beautiful book. I did not expect that to pop up in our previous essay. I feel like I should retroactively apologize for the rude things that were said in essay number 110. I suspect we're going to get a little bit more of the same in essay number 111. It is titled The Niger. And it was 1865. These people, they didn't think that they were so screwed up. So I guess we have to forgive them. But I guess also we can be super grateful that we don't think like this anymore, right? I mean, there you go. Gratitude. Let's get into it. Let's see. This is my first time reading all of this, along with you. We're reading this together for the first time. So let's hope that the Niger has, is more scientific than historical. So that essay is a little gentler than the last one. So we're here on page 269 of American Miscellany. Again, it's essay number 111, The Niger. The Niger is a large river of Central Africa, celebrated for the uncertainty and mystery which prevailed for ages respecting its course and termination, a problem which has been but recently solved. Its source is in Western Africa near that of the river Senegal. In the upper part of its course, it is called by the natives the Joliba, and in the lower part, it is known by the name of the Kwara. The name of the Niger was given to it by the Europeans from the supposition that it was the same river mentioned by Herodotus, Ptolemy, and others. It is doubtful, however, whether its existence was known to the ancient geographers. To the moderns, it has been known, but very imperfectly. By many, it was believed to be a branch of the Nile, by others to lose itself either in a lake or in the sands of the deserts of Africa. Thus, its source as well as its course remained in obscurity until the latter part of the 18th century, when an association was formed in Great Britain for the purpose of promoting discovery in Africa. In 1788, this society dispatched John Ledyard, an American by birth, who had been round the world with Captain Cook and was a remarkably enterprising traveler. His instruction were to penetrate the interior from Egypt in search of the Niger. He, however, unfortunately perished in Cairo, in Egypt, the same year. Other fruitless attempts were made by English travelers, proving fatal to themselves, and the course of this river remained in obscurity, no modern traveler having succeeded in reaching its banks. The honor of accomplishing this hazardous enterprise was reserved for the celebrated Mungo Park, a Scotchman sent out by the association above referred to in 1795. Landing on the western coast, he penetrated up the river Gambia, which he left at Medina. Having crossed the Senegal, he arrived soon after at Jara, and taking a course southward of east, after great hardships, he at length arrived at the long sought-for Niger, which he beheld flowing from west to east. From Sego, he continued his journey to Cilia, along the banks of the Niger, where, finding himself exhausted and destitute, he determined on returning to England, where he arrived in December 1797. Park was sent out again in 1805 by the African Association to pursue his investigations respecting this river, but the second journey terminated fatally. He proceeded with a party to the banks of the Niger, a few miles below Sego, where he accomplished the building of a vessel and embarked with 4 Europeans, the only survivors of his party, intending to descend the river to its mouth. From accounts afterward received, it appeared that they were attacked by the natives at Boussa and killed, the boat lost, and Mr. Park drowned in the river. See, this is why overpopulation was not a problem back then. All right, various expeditions since sent to Africa to explore this river have proved unsuccessful and fatal to adventurers, right? Until 1830, when 2 young men, Richard Lander and his brother John, were sent out by the British government, Richard Lander having formerly accompanied Captain Clapperton on a similar expedition. They landed at Badagry on the west coast of Africa and proceeded overland to Boussa on the Niger, whence they ascended to Yaouri. They then descended the river and finally reached the sea by a mouth of the Niger, which had been before known as the river Nun, thus having had the honor of deciding a question which had perplexed geographers for ages. The course of the Niger is nearly northeast from its sources to Timbuktu, soon after which it is believed to turn to the southeast until it reaches Yaouri. Thence its course varies from southeast to southwest, flowing into the Bight of Benin, a part of the Gulf of Guinea. It is supposed to have several mouths, although but one is known. Its course has been traced for 2,000 miles, a considerable part of which is navigable for steamboats through a rich and populous country, and its whole length is probably 3,000 miles. Cape Formosa at the mouth of the Nun is in latitude 4 degrees 20 minutes north, longitude 6 degrees east. Our engraving exhibits a pleasing view on the river described above. In that quarter of the world, there are few roads, and therefore it is difficult and dangerous, and sometimes almost impossible to travel any distance by land. But by means of the great rivers of Africa, which have been well called its high roads, the task of reaching central regions has become comparatively easy. Another river called the Chuda, which falls into the Niger, enables the voyager to proceed many hundreds of miles towards the east. The people who live in the neighborhood of these rivers are very ready to trade with one another and with foreigners, and will be perceived by the market boats in the engraving. But the trade chiefly carried out on of late years has been the horrible traffic of human beings. They have sold their own brethren into slavery, and there is every reason to believe that at the present time, according to the most moderate calculation, Africa loses about 1,000 of her inhabitants every day in consequence of the slave trade. To check and eventually to extinguish this enormous evil is one of the most important duties of the Christian missionary. Our armed prevention fleets may check the traffic, but it is the inculcation of Christianity alone that will ensure its abolition. What's the cause? What's the cure? Anyways, let's take a look at this beautiful engraving. Go. Try to get a nice close up for us. Here we go. This is entitled Mountains and Market Canoes near Bukway on the Niger, West Africa.